I mean, it's fun writing in other people's backyards because you get the expanded fan base, you get lots of attention, you know, that's good. And then it feeds people into reading, you know, reading stuff that I myself have come up with from the get-go. I don't know, you know, I mean, I was writing Star Trek novels, and then I wrote the Sir Apropos of Nothing novels. I'm sure that if I'd written the Sir Apropos of Nothing novels and had not written Star Trek, no one would have bought them. You know? So if the Star Trek novels get people interested in my work, fantastic.
What about television? Has that been rewarding for you? I know it's so much more collaborative.
Yeah.
That you have to give up a certain amount of control.
Oh, you have to give up tons of control.
Yes, you do.
It's kind of insane. I've enjoyed writing for television. I haven't done a ton of it. I wrote 2 episodes of Babylon 5 and 1 episode of Crusade. I did a TV series for 2 years on Nickelodeon called Space Cases. That was a very entertaining series. One of the people I hired was a 13-year-old actress named Jewel State to play an engineering genius on a spaceship. I reached through time and space and ripped off Joss Whedon 10 years earlier. Yeah, so you know, that was a fun series. But you know, would I like to do more television? Yes, if for no other reason than it pays out a lot. I also wrote Young Justice, which was tremendously entertaining. That was funny as hell, because what happened was, I didn't even know Young Justice was in development. Nobody did. And then the actress who was hired to play Arrowette at the time, later Artemis, put up on her website, "Hey, I've been hired to play, you know, Arrowette in this new Young Justice animated series." And all the fandom went, "What?" And I'm sitting there going, "What?" And she was instructed by Warner to take it down off her damn website, which she immediately did, but it was too late. Once it was on the internet, it's everywhere. And I contacted Paul Levitz, and I went, "Paul, what the hell? I want in on this." And he put me in touch with Sam Register, who works at Cartoon Network. You see his name on lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And he put me in touch with Greg Weisman, who I'd known for years but never worked with. And Greg said to me, "Okay, look, you know, yes, we're doing Young Justice. Now, the fact of the matter is, I have enough writers for the first season, but it's Young Justice and it's you. So if you want in, I have an episode." And I went, "I bet your ass I will." And I wound up paying my own way to fly out to Los Angeles and be in the writer's room. And I worked out and broke down an episode that was eventually called Secrets. And the reason that Greg thought it was perfect for me was because it introduced the characters of Secret and Harm. Harm was the character of the villain I created. And I wrote the script, and he was so happy with it that about 3 weeks later, I get a call from him going, "The guy is supposed to write this, an upcoming episode. He's having some personal problems. He can't write it. Can you jump in and write it?" And I went, "Sure." So I wound up writing 2 episodes for the first season. And when it went to the second season, they just immediately hired me back in. And I wrote 2 episodes for the second season, including probably one of my favorites called Bloodlines, which was the introduction of Impulse into the Young Justice series. And by the way, I'm selling the scripts over at my table at Artist Night. So feel free to swing on by and buy them.
As long as you're plugging, when's your next signing coming up?
I'm set up in the dealer's room. My next signing is after this. I'm going to walk back to my table in the dealer's room. This convention is real simple for me. I'm either at my table or I'm on panels. So I'm going to be at my table from 12 to 1. Then I've got a panel from 1 to 2. And then at 2 o'clock, I'll be back to my table until 6 o'clock when I have to go up to the fan suite and be there when they cut that gigantic cake, which if you have not seen it, you have to see it because it's incredible.
Carla does one of those every year. She's done a couple for my convention as well. And
she made a Hulk fist out of Rice Krispies. Holy crap.
Has everyone been up to the concert yet? If you haven't, go check it out. It's gorgeous.
This cake's got stacked up copies of my books, all of which are edible. I really wish my actual books were.
Well, technically they are.
Well, yeah.
They just aren't that tasty. Let's go to the audience if anyone has any questions. Yeah.
When you're sending in scripts for graphics, are you sending in walking notes as if you were doing theater, or is it just dialogue as if it were radio?
Oh, you mean when I write a comic book script?
Yes.
No. When I write there's basically 2 ways to write comic book scripts. One is what's referred to as the Marvel method. And the Marvel method stems from the fact that when Stan Lee was writing Marvel Comics, he didn't have time to sit down and write scripts. So he would have the artist come to his office and he would say, "Okay, Jack," when you're talking like Stan, you have to go, "Okay, Jack, in this issue, the Fantastic Four have lost their powers and will have Dr. Doom take over the Baxter Building. And they have to go in and fight Dr. Doom, and let's bring in Daredevil, because we haven't seen him in a little while. So you'll have Daredevil leading the Fantastic Four, fighting Dr. Doom in the Baxter Building." And Jack would go, "Okay." And he'd come back a month later with 22 pages of Jack Kirby drawings, which Stan Lee would then script. Which led to the development of the Marvel method, which is that you would write the story in what was essentially short story form, but written in present tense, in which you describe what's happening. So you would say, pages 1 to 3. Rick Jones walks into the room and stands there and stares at Bruce Banner. "I can't believe you're here, Bruce," he says, and he leans against the fireplace. Okay? You write it like that. The way that I write scripts is what's called full script, which is a panel-by-panel breakdown of everything that's happening on the page. So I would write page 1, panel A, interior shot of the den as Rick Jones is walking through the door. Rick, balloon 1. "Bruce, you're here. I can't believe it." Panel 2, Rick swings the door shut. "Rick, balloon 2. I'm so glad to see you." Panel C, he leans against the nearby fireplace. "Rick, balloon 3. Now we finally have a chance to talk." Okay? That's how I write comic book scripts. Panel by panel with all the dialogue. I do it this way because, number one, a lot of young artists simply don't have the storytelling technique yet to break down the story visually. And the other thing is that it forces me not to overplot the story. Because when I was writing it in short story form, I might put in so much that the artist cannot possibly get it all onto the page. And he has to pick and choose what to put on the page. And frequently the artist will pick and choose incorrectly. That answer?
That explains that and why you do so wonderfully doing adaptations, because you're actually writing your graphics closer to that manner.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Are there any characters you haven't worked with yet that you're done to get hold of?
No. I mean, I've been writing full-time since 1987.
Lucky.
So I've been doing this nearly 30 years. At this point, there's absolutely no character that I can think of that I haven't worked on in some way, shape, or form. Are the characters whose books I would like to write? Sure. But I've worked with pretty much every freaking character. I mean, hell, I wrote an issue of Captain Marvel that was drawn by Jim Starlin. I mean, go on.
Are there any characters that are more fun to write than others?
Well, there's characters I'm used to. I mean, I love writing the Hulk. Because when you have a character living in your head for 12 years, you have a close association. I love writing Fallen Angel, a character that I will eventually return to. And Sir Apropos of Nothing, I'm going to be doing a new Apropos book this year. So, yeah.
Question?